You're listening to Clearview Today with Dr. Abadan Shah, the daily show that engages mind and heart for the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm Ryan Hill.
I'm John Galantis.
You can find us online by visiting clearviewtodayshow.com, or if you have any questions for Dr. Shah or suggestions for new topics, send us a text to 252-582-5028, or you can email us at contact@clearviewtodayshow.com.
That's right, and you guys can help us keep the conversation going by supporting the show. You can share it online with your friends and family. Leave us a good 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify, absolutely nothing less than 5 stars. We're going to leave a link in the description so you can do just that.
The verse of the day today is coming to you from 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 7. But as you abound in everything, in faith, in speech, in knowledge, in all diligence, and in your love for us, see that you abound in this grace also.
That's right. Paul is asking the Corinthians to follow through on a commitment that they had made to him. The Corinthian church, they agreed to gather all this money that was to be given to suffering Christians in Jerusalem. But since they made that and Paul went away, their relationship kind of got strained. You know, things became really complicated with the Corinthians. There was a lot of him having to correct them and rebuke them. So here in this letter, he's praising them for all of these specific areas of excellence that he sees, right? He's saying, as you abound in your faith, in your speech, in your knowledge, in your diligence, all your enthusiasm, all these things. He's saying, just like you're doing that, I want you to, regardless of how you feel about me, I want you to do that and show excellence in your act of giving as well.
Yeah. It's important for us to be responsible with the resources that God has entrusted to us, and that includes and especially refers to our finances.
That's right.
I mean, the things that we have, all of the money that we have, all of the resources that we have, they're all God's.
That's right.
He's just entrusted us with them to be good stewards. And it is a time-tested, time-proven principle that the more generous you are with what you have, the more God can bless you so that you can be a blessing to others.
100%. Before we move on, we do want to remind you guys that this episode is sponsored by the Date the Word app. We're going to leave some information right in the description so you can download that on your phone. But before we do anything else, Ryan, you know what time it is.
I do.
It's mail time, brother. We got some mail. Oh, we gonna sing this song. This is from the 90s right here. Here's the mail, it never fails. It makes me want to wag my tail. When it comes, I want to wail. Mail. Mike S. from North Carolina, longtime listener of the show. What is one of Dr. Question's top guilty pleasure songs? I think this is going to apply to us as well. Guilty pleasure songs. In parentheses, this question may or may not have spawned from finishing a lightning round questions episode on Spotify, and then Spotify randomly jumping to Mariah Carey's Fantasy on my guilty pleasure road trip playlist.
Well,
Mike, this guy, I can tell you, by the way, this guy's a sheriff's deputy, police officer, police, yeah, police officer. Yeah. But you can listen to Mariah Carey if you want to. I wouldn't tell the other guys on the force.
Right.
But
right.
I guess that's why it's in your guilty fantasy. Your what is it? Guilty pleasure road trip playlist.
Right.
Guilty pleasure song. Top guilty pleasure song.
Oh man. For me, top guilty pleasure song. Gosh, there's two that I'm thinking of, and I'm not sure which one I want to divulge. I think probably top guilty pleasure song would be "That's the Way It Is" by Celine Dion.
What is that? I don't even know.
When you want it the most, there's no easy way out.
What?
When you're ready to go and your heart's left in doubt, don't give up on your faith. Love comes to life,
Y'all know
so
this?
believe it.
Nicholas, do you know
And
this?
that's the way it is.
Never heard.
That's
You
the
said
way it
Celine Dion,
is.
the Titanic lady?
Yeah.
Wow. She's the one that threw the necklace in the water?
No, she's an actress in the movie. Celine Dion was not in the movie.
Oh, she's the one that sang the song.
Right.
Of course.
Right.
I think my guilty pleasure song, I don't know if there's a one song, but anything by Sugarland.
Oh,
Anything by
okay. All
Sugarland,
right.
I feel like if someone asked me, like, hey, do you like Sugarland? I'd be like, no.
Stuck like glue.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
But I would be like, ew, no, I don't listen to that. But then when it's just me and Ellie in the car, what's the one? Oh, my goodness.
I got another one.
We can settle, we can make our own. Whole world could change in a minute. Just one kiss could stop it spinning. We could think it through. I like that one a lot.
I don't want to.
If you don't want to.
I got another one.
What
it's No Air.
What?
With Jordan Sparks and
I've never
what's his name?
I've never heard of any of yours.
Why can't I think of his name?
Hold on, I'll look it up.
Tell me
Sing
how
it.
I'm supposed to breathe with no air.
No Air.
Can't live, can't breathe with no. Is it Chris Brown?
I don't know. I've never heard of this. It just says Jordan Sparks. Oh yeah, featuring Chris Brown.
Yeah.
What?
That's a good one.
That looks like a. I'm not even gonna say it.
How you feel? How I feel whenever you ain't there.
When is this from?
No air, no air.
14 years ago. Golly. What's another one? Oh, it's not Sugarland. Whose bed have you boots been under?
Well, Shania Twain.
All of ours are women.
Like the girl country songs.
I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. Like if someone asked me, I'd be like, no, I don't listen to that.
Yeah.
I don't listen to that. I listen to cool stuff. I listen to Binkle 182 and Green Day and stuff like that.
And
but then
Sugarland.
Yeah. They're all women though. All of our guilty pleasure songs
I feel
are
like
about women.
that's the case for a lot of guys.
I'm going to ask Dr. Shah. I want to ask Dr. Shah when he comes in what his guilty pleasure is. Because that is what Mike, thank you for writing in, my friend. That's our answers. We're going to ask Dr. Shah as soon as he comes in.
And if you're brave, write in and let us know your guilty pleasure song.
We will play them on the radio, 100%.
252-582-5028. Or you can visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com. Stay tuned. We'll be back after this.
What's going on, listeners? My name is John.
And I'm David.
And we hope you are enjoying the podcast thus far.
You know, we really appreciate how many of you download the podcast every day.
Right.
But we also want to remind you that we are first and foremost a radio show.
Clearview Today is actually syndicated through the Truth Network. And we just want to let you know right now that in addition to hosting the all-time best Christian talk show of all time,
Hashtag Clearview Today.
Hashtag Clearview Today, the Truth Network also, as it turns out, has an extensive library of Christian programming.
We really love everything they're doing at the Truth Network because the whole goal is to encourage, challenge, confront, and uplift listeners with the life-changing truth of Jesus Christ through Christian Talk Radio.
And listen, we know we are not the only show wanting to expand its audience. So if you have a vision for your show or for your ministry, why don't you consider syndicating your show through the Truth Network? Because they rely on decades of experience of self-syndication with a full array of features for your long-form or short-form content.
Make sure you visit the Truth Network online today at truthnetwork.com, or you can give them a call at 336-759-0363. Again, that's 336-759-0363. Well, John, are you ready?
I was born ready, my friend. Let's hop right back in.
All right.
Welcome back to Clearview Today with Dr. Abadan Shah, the daily show that engages mind and heart for the gospel of Jesus Christ. You can visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com, or if you have any questions or suggestions for new topics, send us a text to 252-582-5028.
That's right, and we're here once again in the Clearview Today studio with Dr. Abadan Shah, who's a PhD in New Testament textual criticism. Dr. Shah, very, very happy Wednesday. Good to see you, my friend.
Yes, Wednesday
Good to
round
hear.
of applause.
Loud applause. That's some loud applause. Listen, Mike S., long-time listener of the show.
Okay.
He wants to know, what's your favorite guilty pleasure song? The song that if someone caught you listening to it, you'd be like, oh, I wasn't listening to that. It was just on. But in your heart of hearts, you really like it.
I don't have one, but I remember the girls used to listen to Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Yeah? Cyndi Lauper?
It's Cyndi Lauper.
Was that the girls or was that more Nicole?
No, girls.
Oh, really?
Girls.
Okay.
Yeah, she would listen to that, and the girls would listen to that, and that was like our song.
Was that one that you'd be like, if they played it again, you'd be like, I wouldn't argue that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you buy list.
Yeah.
Because it was like all like fun, we're
Yeah.
having fun. And
Yeah, it's fine.
Wow. I like that little run she does at the end. They're all women. I don't know what it is, but all the guilty pleasure songs, they're all by women.
I feel like
I
it's
don't know
either
what it
going to
is.
end up for guys, usually guilty pleasure songs are either women or boy bands.
Yeah, it could be.
Like, I feel like it's going to fall into one of those categories.
I don't know of any boy bands that I would say is a guilty pleasure. Oh, I don't remember who sang it.
Bye, bye, bye.
No.
Not a guilty pleasure song?
No, I'm
100% a guilty
I'm okay
pleasure
liking
song.
that one. I'm okay liking that one. What's the one? Oh my goodness. New Kids on the Block got a
Oh.
bunch of hits. Chinese food makes me sick. I can't remember who is that?
it makes me sick.
And I think it's fly when the girls stop by for the summer.
LFO?
LFO.
Was it LFO? I might be wrong. I don't know if I'm right or not.
It's LFO.
I'm
I
like
hadn't-
65% sure it's LFO.
I hadn't heard that name in like 15 years.
Yeah, I think
Dr.
it's-
Shah,
I think
have
it's
you ever
LFO.
heard of LFO?
No.
No.
Yeah.
I don't
Laughing
think
my
about-
face off.
Nobody in this generation has.
They were more like punk or alternative, though. They weren't really boy band.
They were a boy band.
No,
100%.
boy band, I'm
They
thinking
didn't play
like
instruments.
Boy band is like headset mics, choreography on the stage.
I don't think they
like your
played instruments,
Backstreet
though.
Boys, your NSYNC. Those are the boy bands.
I think they were all vocal though. Weren't they?
Were
They
they?
didn't- I don't think
know.
they played
Maybe they
instruments.
were.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I hadn't heard. I hadn't even thought
We're
about
speaking
LFO.
out of boy band ignorance
I hadn't even
here.
thought about LFO in like 15 something years.
Yeah.
You know, one thing about LFO that people don't realize, they're all British. They're all
I actually
English.
didn't know that. Really?
I'm lying.
Really?
No, I'm lying, but I needed a segue.
I'm lying, but
not
it makes
English?
sense for the segue.
No, I don't think so. I don't know what they are.
I'm lying, but it makes sense for the segue.
The Beatles were English. I know that's for sure.
were.
The Jonas Brothers, they're not English.
Not English.
No. Oh, what's the One Direction? They're English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Why are we talking about that?
Because today we're talking about Dr. Shah's recent trip to England.
Yeah,
That was
the LFO is American.
That was a rough
That was a
segue.
rough segue.
That was
That's why I
rough.
usually leave it to you.
Man, wow.
I usually leave it to you.
We want to talk today, Dr. Shah. Of course, you just recently got back from across the pond. From
Welcome back, by the way.
Yes, welcome back. Welcome back.
Good to be home.
We talked about that right at the beginning of yesterday's episode, but or maybe it was Monday's
It was
episode.
Monday's
I can't
episode,
remember. But we want to talk today about what your trip entailed, why you went over to England, what all was involved, and the cool things you got to see while you were there.
So this was a couple of years ago. I heard that there was going to be a conference outside of Oxford, England. Or as you can say in Oxford, England. Okay, and it was in my field of textual criticism. It was on the importance or the relevance of text types. If people know what text types are, great. If you don't, text types are how manuscripts sort of bunch together. Okay, based on variant readings, certain manuscripts have the same mistakes, right? And it's not just like same mistakes by coincidence. It's like there's a pattern going on.
Right.
Based on that, you group them. Okay, this is a very simplistic explanation.
Right.
That's how the whole idea of text types came about. And it's been around for like 200-300 years. And now this conference actually was to do away with text types. Like the day of text types is over.
For real?
Wow.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
the
I didn't
whole-
know that. I didn't know that's what the conference was on.
But I know several people who spoke at the conference actually supported the idea or the validity of text types.
Like, so a lot of people were for keeping them.
No, actually we're against it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there were two people who were for keeping it.
I got you.
Yeah.
So was this a conference on like this is the trend that's happening, or was it kind of a debate?
It was
Like-
kind of a debate.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So there was somebody coming from an Alexandrian text point of view, somebody coming from a Western text point of view, somebody, of course, Maurice Robinson, coming from a Byzantine text type point of view. There was a person representing CBGM, Munster, INTF. They had their point of view, and they're definitely against text type because the whole CBGM, at least how they claim it, is to do away with text types, but they don't. They start with text types, and they are doing away with text. It doesn't make sense, but that's the whole idea behind it.
What was your? Well, I guess two questions. What is your position on the matter? I know because you didn't speak at the conference, but you,
I responded. I reacted. Interacted. Not
You did?
Reacted. Interacted with the speakers.
Nice.
Yeah.
What is your position on whether or not to keep them, and which position do you feel like kind of won the day?
I don't know if any position really won the day because it was kind of like divided, with the majority of people saying text types are done, but two people saying text types are still valid.
Right.
For example, I mean, there's only two who were on the side of text types are still valid. One was Peterhead. Peterhead is at Wycliffe Hall, Oxford University, and he came from the Alexandrian perspective, like, is there an Alexandrian text type? And his response was, the whole paper was that, yeah, you may want to do away with the idea of text types, but there is something called text type there.
You're right.
You may want to find another name for it if you want to, but you cannot do away with that concept.
Because it exists.
It exists.
Yeah.
It's a reality. Maurice Robinson, on the other hand, on the same side, took the same view, but he was more adamant. He said, no, text types are here to stay. This is what it is. Manuscripts do group together. You cannot deny that.
Right.
But then there were others on Western side or CBGM or a couple other papers who presented who were like, oh no, it's done. It's done.
Wow. Do you think it's done, or do you feel like there's still some validity in text?
Oh, definitely. I think there's validity to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you would not be for doing away with text, the practice of grouping text together by text.
No, I would say it's still there. And one big reason is, let's just talk about CBGM, which is coherence-based genealogical method. That's what being used behind the new NA28, NA29 that's still coming. NA28 is our current critical Greek text. They say CBGM is behind it. But the CBGM methodology, and that was one of the questions I asked one of the presenters who was there, and I asked him the question. I said, so am I right in saying that you do begin with text types? Even in your computer program, you do begin with the text types, but then your goal is to do away with the text type, correct? He said, absolutely. He thought I was supporting him. Like, that's right. So we're starting there, but our goal is to get away from it. So I'm like, well, I hope everybody else heard that.
Yeah, I mean, is there...
If that's the foundation you're building on and you're trying to do away with foundation, I don't really know
it's
how
like
that
we're going to build a house, and this is our foundation, but our ultimate goal is...
to do away with the foundation.
Take out the foundation.
Yeah.
So is there any
I don't think that
actual
makes
like
sense.
valid reason to do away with text types? Like, do we gain anything by getting rid of them?
Well, the whole point is how can we be very objective? How can we do away with an archaic concept? They think that text type was done at a time where we did not have computers, because now we have computers and we can see the genealogical relationship between manuscripts. So we can see how they all, kind of come together in this pattern where this one gave us this one, or
Right.
maybe even there are gaps between predecessor forms, but still they're we can kind of lay them out. It may not work humanly, but with a computer, you can lay them out. Unfortunately, it's not that simple.
Right.
Because there are times where there are genealogical descent, which is what text type is all about. But then there are times it makes no sense, and a computer cannot detect that.
Right.
The computer says, oh, yeah, this one came from here, because same mistakes. But then when you see a pattern between this manuscript with tons of them over here, and this manuscript with tons of them over there, and you're going, wait, you're trying to draw a conclusion because these two have the same mistake when actually they both are grouping over there? So this group may be a coincidence. It may be fake.
So do you end up miscategorizing it?
Yeah, I'm being very simplistic here.
Right.
Yeah, of course. You end up miscategorizing them and creating links that don't exist.
Right.
That never existed.
Wow.
Is there any sort of fallacy around scholarship? I know that it's out there, like on the internet, and it's out there among, like, I don't want to say pastors, but like lay people, lay theologians.
Right.
But is there any sort of fallacy in the scholarly realm that says, hey, text types, if you lean too far into text types, you can get into stuff like King James onlyism, or stuff like that, where a lot of people will mistake Byzantine priority for being King James only.
Yeah.
Is that in the scholarly field as well?
Yeah, they'll do the same thing.
They would say that text types can be
because
dangerous like that?
Yeah, text types will promote the superiority of one group of manuscripts when that group doesn't even exist.
You used to say, well, you still do, but I remember always catching all the time where you would specify to people, I'm not King James only. And you would say it from the pulpit, and you would say, I use the New King James, but I'm not King James only.
Yeah.
And I never really caught on to why you would say that until I realized the danger, maybe not the danger, but the almost social risk in saying that you're Byzantine priority, because people will be like, oh, you must be King James only because that's
Right.
where they all camp.
Yeah, and that's what you still have to struggle with. And then people who know the discipline really well and are mature enough to tell the difference are the ones who will be like, yeah, I can see the difference.
Yeah.
I know why you're saying that. And it's not the same thing. But majority of the people will quickly categorize you.
Gotcha.
That makes sense.
Even in the scholarly realm.
Yeah.
But all in all, good conference, good solid.
Great.
Good solid conference.
Yeah, everyone on the paper, even the ones I disagreed with, the papers were solid. Research was well done. I disagreed with their propositions or their hypothesis or their conclusion. I disagreed with them. Like I said, one or two of them were like Peter Head's paper and Maurice Robinson's, even though there is disagreement with them over certain assumptions or propositions. Overall, they were on the same side.
I don't know if you want to, maybe we don't have to say any names or anything, but it was kind of funny because we were in communication while you were in England. We were like talking back and forth about work stuff and writing scripts and stuff like that with the building. I was watching an episode of The Big Bang Theory, and it was the one where Sheldon puts out a paper and then it gets disproven, so he has to recant. He has to like put out a retraction, and everybody's like making fun of him at the university. And so I said, does that happen? Does that happen in like biblical scholarship?
Yeah.
And he said, I saw one happen today.
Oh no!
I saw someone had to recant today.
Well,
I didn't know
I
that
forgot
was
who it was.
a thing that actually happened.
Yeah.
He had to get up and be like, hey, look, I put out a paper.
I was wrong.
It was wrong.
Yeah.
I didn't think, I was like, thought that was something that happened on TV.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
well,
I mean, he has a whole dictionary out,
Yeah.
or encyclopedia, I think it is. And he got up and said, it's like, yeah, I mean, and it's on discount, by the way. You can buy that. And then he's like, well, I don't know how long that concept we can really say that.
Wow.
I'm like, what? Should we buy it or not?
yeah.
It's like, look, I'd appreciate it if you buy it. but,
Personally, it would
may
mean a
not
lot
do
to
you no
me,
good,
but
yeah.
But then again, the changes will not come for another 30, 40 years, you know?
So the whole conference was on text types? That was
Yes.
the focus
Wow.
of the whole thing?
It was put out by the Text and Canon Institute, where in Phoenix, Arizona, and it's led by Peter Gurry and John Mead. Peter Gurry is a New Testament scholar. John Mead is Old Testament. So this was not really John Mead's field,
Right.
but it's the whole conference comes from their institute.
Right.
Yeah.
Peter
is-
Gurry has been on the show.
Yes.
I don't know if John Mead has been on Clearview Today.
Not on Clearview Today, but he's been on
previous
Hoi Polloi,
shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely Peter Gurry has been on the show before. So this was their conference.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know why you guys were over there traveling. You and Nicole were over there. You got the chance to go around and see some of the sites over there, visit them, do some filming projects. What are some of the coolest things that you were able to see? I know there were a lot of historical things over there, especially like Christian history.
I mean, we were there 12 days.
Yeah.
You want to hear about each day?
If we can, yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Let's
Maybe
at
a
least
couple
start.
of shows.
Yeah, let's at least start.
Maybe a couple of shows. All right. So day one, we landed. I was supposed to leave here. We were supposed to leave here on Monday, arrived there on Tuesday, and then go straight to Oxford.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I changed it. I was
Yeah.
like, I need one more day. If I can get one more day, I can then see the British Library and I can see the British Museum, which were huge on my list.
Yeah, we stayed in your office for like a couple hours one day trying to work it all out to where you could see it like at this time and leave at this time. And then it was like, we're just going to have another day.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And I changed the plane ticket like about a couple weeks ago. And it was the best decision I made, because if I hadn't done that, there's no way British Library, British Museum would have been in my schedule. Wow. And so we arrived in London, 6:20, 6:50 in the morning. And then we got to the Europe car, which is like an enterprise or a budget, same concept. And I'm like, I'm renting a car and I am not sure if I want to drive.
True.
I'm renting a car, but driving is on the
left
side,
Yeah.
with the steering wheel being on the right side in the car.
Right.
I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to have a wreck, or I'm going to, just be driving at a snail's pace.
Right.
So picked up the car. Now we have to go to the hotel, which was very near. I picked up I picked all these things very strategically. So I won't have to drive too far. And I was going to park at the hotel and get a taxi into London. I was like, all this is planned out. And then I got in the car, started driving. I'm like, oh my word.
So did it
How
feel
was
weird
it?
at first?
Oh yes.
Really?
Yes.
I was expecting it'd be like, oh, once you do it, it's no big deal. But it's like, no, it's pretty
Initially, it
Feels
was kind of a
wrong.
little weird. And plus, the signs are different.
weird. Really?
Yeah, the road signs are different. The road traffic lines on the roads are different.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, am I in which lane? Is it turning lane? Is it not? Nicole's like, I don't know. I'm like, figure it out.
Hey, look.
I need you to know.
I need you to look. It's weird. So you grew up in India, but at the same time, you weren't driving around in cars and stuff.
No.
You drove like a bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did drive Dad's car a
Right.
few times because I was 17, getting ready to leave, and Dad was like, you need to learn how to drive because over there you're going to have to drive. So I learned how to drive stick.
Oh, yeah.
But the stick was not like here.
Right.
The stick was in the column.
Really?
Yeah.
It was like up here. So you're driving sticks like up here
On the other side.
on the, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah. So.
But then you moved to America and then everything's on the opposite side.
Yeah.
Huh.
So we got to the hotel. I was like, phew, made it. Parked it. And then I'm like, hey, we need to get a taxi. And we checked in early at the hotel too. So I had to wait for that. I'm like, pins and needles, because I got to get to London. I got to get to London because we have an appointment at the British Library to see the treasures of the library. And that's at 11 o'clock.
What was that like?
And this was like 9 o'clock. And so we drove in and pulled up close to the library, but still like quarter of a mile away.
Oh, man.
Because the traffic was like
It was just terrible.
backed up.
Wow.
The guy's like, I can still keep driving, but you'll be late for your appointment. Because I told him, I was like, I gotta be walking in at 11.
Yeah.
It's not possible. So, you see the traffic. You can get out here and start walking. You'll be there faster. So we got out and we ran.
Wow.
Walked in the library. Walked to the front desk, and I'm like, we're here for the tour. And they're like, oh, the tour hasn't started yet. It's right there.
Oh, good.
Oh, thank you, Lord. And then this young girl came and took us around. It was awesome.
Really?
We saw so many things, but my favorite was their main exhibit where they have Codex Sinaiticus and Codex Alexandrinus.
Wow. These are the originals, the original manuscripts.
original.
Not facsimiles.
Now this is Codex Aleph and Codex A.
Wow. So you just got done going to a conference on manuscripts, and then you were able to go and see the original Codex.
Well, I saw the original before
you went to the
This is
conference,
like
sure.
right when you
Arrived.
get there, and then we're booking it to the
Yeah, but
true.
3 hours
museum.
later, I'm looking at the
Wow.
That's insane.
tired,
Wow.
but I'm like, honey, we got to do this.
Yeah.
And we have a facsimile of Codex Sinaiticus.
Yes, we do. And Vaticanus.
Yeah.
Vaticanus is at the Vatican, as you can imagine.
Right, of course.
So this is only Codex Sinaiticus and Codex Alexandrinus.
Do you think we'll have a facsimile of Alexandrinus one day?
If they make it.
No, they haven't made one?
No.
Oh, wow.
No, they don't make one for everything.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's only certain things.
Only
Yeah.
certain ones.
Only Sinaiticus and Vaticanus is out there. I don't even know if Bise is out. If there was one, I'd buy it.
But we do have Sinaiticus and Vaticanus here at
Yes,
the
we do.
church.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And Vaticanus is like really authentic.
Oh, yeah.
As close to the original as possible.
Like it's got
It
holes
looks-
in the pages.
Yeah, the pages look weathered. I mean, they've done an incredible job with replicating it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
That's incredible. So you saw Sinaiticus, you saw...
we saw the Lindisfarne Gospels. We saw the Harley Golden Gospels. Saw the 42-line Gutenberg Bible.
Nice.
Saw Wycliffe Bible, Tyndale Bible. First edition, first folio of the King James Bible.
Wow.
First
That's
folio.
incredible.
By the way, later on, I also held the first folio.
You did?
Not there, but at Lambeth Palace.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'll talk about that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's insane.
And then could not see the copy of the Magna Carta. They had some problem there with the environmentalists or something, and so they had to shut down that exhibit.
Like protesters and stuff?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Gotcha.
That's annoying.
So did all of that at the British Library, and then we had to book it because now we have to get to another part of that central London or North Central to the British Museum. So we're like, we gotta go.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, where are we going? I was like, British Museum. We're like walking fast, and there's a line at the gate, and I'm
Just
like,
straight all the way out
no.
there. Golly.
I'm like,
Did you have an appointment?
yes. That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
In both these places, like the library, you can go in and see the exhibit, by the way.
Right.
I took the tour, and then I also spent time with the exhibit. But at British Museum, you have to register beforehand. You have to pay for
Wow.
the exhibit beforehand. So you get to jump ahead of the line.
Wow.
So I got there, and there was a line like half a mile long. And the guy was there. It's like, you have tickets?
Yeah, you just fast pass your way right to the front?
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, here it is. Let me see. We can go.
Yeah, see you, dorks. I'm going in.
So I quickly made my way in, came in. But I already had a plan. I was like, British Museum is mind-blowing.
Really?
Wow.
I cannot explain to you how many things that are there.
What all did they have? Like, what were some of the things that you got to see?
And by the way, what they have in display is only maybe 10%.
Really?
Some people say only 1%. I don't know.
Wow.
Only 10% of what they have underground.
Wow.
That's insane.
Only 10%.
Do they change things out, like change exhibits in and out, or this
So
is
they
kind
just
of like a
they just
vault
hoard
where
them
things are
underground?
stored?
Yep.
They just hoard them underground?
They're
in
sitting
case
under
they-
there.
Huh.
You know, when you go to historical sites and you don't see things there, you say like, "Wow, there's nothing but a wall." And no, there were things there.
Oh yeah, Britain took them all. They got them. You can't even go see them. They just keep them in the warehouse underground.
They were there. They're no longer there.
To their credit, I will say this: if they had not picked them up and put them in the museum, they would have been sold or melted down, or something would have
Destroyed or
happened.
something,
So
yeah.
I am a little sympathetic to that, but at the same time, they're all sitting in London.
Someone else's national history.
And not
is
even
in-
on display.
Yeah.
No, they're sitting
He's in a
underneath.
vault in London.
And the reason I know they're sitting underneath and not getting changed out, by the way, it's common knowledge that 10% is out and the rest is underneath. The fact that it's true and they're not changing things out is because of the dust. Because you can see, looking in, like that book has been sitting there for months and months and months and years.
Wow.
That sign over there was probably put together in the 80s.
Yeah, this is made in Microsoft Paint.
Not
that would be
paint.
great.
Yeah.
This is the 80s.
Wow.
No Microsoft Paint. Yeah.
They did it on a typewriter.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, if that.
Wow.
So there are places we went through. I mean, so I had a plan. Maybe we can talk about it in the next
Yeah,
show.
let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I had a plan on what will I see in the British Museum. What is a must? Because to see the whole thing, forget about the 90% under the ground. Just the display would take you good. Like if you stop and read everything, a week.
Jeez
Wow.
Louise.
Oh, yeah.
That's
If
incredible.
you read everything,
Yeah.
a week. If you just stop and look at each thing, at least 2 days.
Wow.
Wow. So do you think they put the best of the best? Isn't that 10%? Or do you think some of
I
those
don't know.
treasures? Wow.
I don't know. I would love to
But yeah.
answer that, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Have to go in there with a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had a plan, and I will gladly tell you
Yeah,
next
let's hear
time
it.
how was my plan and what I got to see.
Let's do
That's
it.
awesome. I can't wait to hear it. If you guys enjoyed today's episode, write in and let us know, 252-582-5028. Or you can visit us online at clearviewtodayshow.com. Don't forget you can partner with us financially on that same website. Scroll to the bottom, click that donate button, and let us know it's coming from our Clearview Today Show family. Make sure you guys join us for tomorrow's episode. We love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow on Clearview Today.